Good afternoon. It is middle of the day, probably around 1 p.m. 0 to +1 degrees. Cloudy again. And I thought today, I have the day off because I'm off for the next 2 weeks. We'll do a walk, probably the south part of the golf course. But first I like to head north, walk around the stormwater ponds, and then hit the golf course. Make sure I get some miles in. And I again forgot to start my run keeper till I was a couple blocks in. But that's okay, because Google's tracking it as well. And as much as I malign Google Maps that is, it was tracking nearly as accurately. Got my DJI going here again. It's a pretty cool thing. I haven't edited the video I did yesterday to see how good it did, but we will get to that after this walk. Today is a normal work day for a lot of people, and there's a car coming. I'm still uncomfortable filming out in the wild here. Don't look too much like an idiot, but a lot of people seem to do it, so whatever. Yeah, so it's fairly quiet in the neighborhood today. Some people obviously had to go to work. And I'm sure a lot of people are at the mall trying to use up their gift certificates. We just had the measliest amount of snowfall today. But what that does is cover the ice patches on the sidewalks. And that is a nightmare for this guy. I've fallen way too many times and not been injured. So, you know, the clock's running out on that. But the other day when I fell, I did feel it in my wrist, but I've been having trouble with this wrist for a long time. I've had shock therapy done on it. Shockwave therapy is what it's called at the chiropractor, and that helped immensely. But I obviously need a follow-up to that because I've been having pain and swelling, and when I fell on Christmas Eve, I did feel it in my wrist, so I may have banged it on the ground when I went down. My wife got an acupuncture pen for Christmas, and it feels like little pins and needle shocks, but what it does is uses acupressure points along certain meridians. I had to ask her 3 times what all that meant, and apparently my issues with my sore wrist and tinnitus or tinnitus, you know what I mean, the ringing in your ears, are signs that I have issues in my small intestine meridian or something like that, which generally does not mean it has anything to do with your small intestine. I'm not against modern medicine, nor am I against what maybe is called holistic medicine. All I know is I like whatever the hell works to get rid of pain. Because when it comes to pain, this guy's an uber baby. What most people would describe as 1 or 2 on the pain scale, I'm like crying like it was 6 or 7. That's why I'm scared of opiates. I've never had them. You see the results of some people who are addicted to them, and I'm thinking anything that would take away all the pain in my body and leave you in a state of euphoria makes me think I'd be on a one-way ticket to living on the streets. course, I really know nothing about them, so I may be talking out my ass like usual, but it still scares me none the same, so I'll take any approach that doesn't, require you to take anything stronger than Tylenol or Aleve. Which long-term use of those could have disastrous results on your liver and your kidneys, so nothing's great for you that's not part of your natural body. But I am a bit of a wino, though. I'm a whiner and a wino. Apparently alcohol can cause inflammation, so gotta pick your battles, right? Enjoy a glass of wine or forget about having swollen extremities. Ooh, might be overdressed today. Very pleasant day to walk. Daily duck update. I like this DJI thing. A lot easier to zoom in. I still haven't quite figured out the tracking though. Sometimes it's going sideways on me, and I don't know if it's because I've turned it in my wrist or what. I'll figure it out eventually. You know, you guys could be in Florida or wherever ducks go. Never see any dead ones lying around, so unless the coyotes get them, but they're hanging around. I don't normally go down this way, but because it dead ends at the golf course, and it didn't look like there was a trail there, but I think somebody's cut a path through, so I'll give that a try, and then I'll be on the golf course at the north end and wander my way all the way to the clubhouse. That should give me a solid 6 or 7 kilometers today, I'm thinking. Okay, gonna be a bit of a ways to go to get to the paved path. This is technically against the rules, and I'm going down a hill, so let's try and stay off my ass here. Baby steps. This is where I was the other day, leading up to those expensive duplexes that back onto here. Enough about that, though. So what did you guys get for Christmas? Let me list off what I got, and then you can be jealous. My father-in-law got me a nice leaf blower, or just blower in general, because you can use it to blow light snow. I got a nice couple polo shirts. Our kids got us some nice sheets and a keg gift certificate. And my dad and Joe gave us, Joe is a female name, so not that we're gender biased here. They gave us a nice gift certificate to the keg as well, so people know where we like to eat, obviously, eh? What else do we get? We got some cash. Cash is always a great thing. Christmas decoration with all 6 of our names on it. I got this DJI thing in my hand. What else? Not to be boastful, but we were spoiled this year. My mother-in-law loves to shop, and if giving us gifts gives her pleasure, who am I to argue, right? I've gotten past the Oh, you shouldn't have. Because she wanted to, so why take that away from her? What else? My wife's got enough booze to last her a week or two now. She doesn't have a problem or anything. The way the sun is shining through the tree and the clouds. Get a lot of nice scenery pictures in the winter. My favorite time of year is the fall. I don't know if it's because I was born in the fall or what, but I like that season the best. It's like the end of the heat, and then all the pretty colors come out, and the temperature comes down. And we don't live in a hot environment, but the last few years we've been getting like 35 to 40 degrees Celsius, which is really like, 100 plus Fahrenheit. Everything's just going to burn up, folks, so live your life now because everything will be on fire soon. Stirred up the magpies again. Hitting the west/south trails now in the golf course. My wife and I say we're never getting each other anything for Christmas, but every time there's something under the tree from either one of us. So she ended up getting me one of those fitness watches, which I think I already mentioned. Somehow she ended up with one too. Both of them from Santa Claus, so that's nice. I got her a new set of binoculars that have greater range, because she likes to look at the stars. She claims she can't see the rings of Saturn with the one she has today. I better double check that there's not some hunky guy across the street that she's actually spying on, not the stars. And I got her a new pair of walking shoes. She's been complaining for 6 months about she's got to go get new shoes. And I took matters in my own hand and threw a dart at the wall to make sure I got the right size and the right color. Black, of course. So generally we don't wait for Christmas to buy things. We just buy things as we need them or want them. Okay, either I smell marijuana or a skunk. I don't see a skunk, so somebody must be partaking on their deck or something. I really don't like the smell of that. I'm not against it, especially if taking gummies or something for my inflammation or whatever. I'm not opposed to that, but yeah, I really don't like the smell of it. I think it would have been better if they forced you to vape it out in public so that everyone else around you didn't have to smell it. The tunnel doesn't seem so dangerous in the daylight, but I assume either somebody was graffitiing or huffing paint fumes in here, so you never know what's going to be going on down here. There is graffiti here, but none of it looks like it was lacquered. This thing doesn't feel as heavy today, but I've been taking breaks and hanging it down by my side. The DJI thing, that is. Need to figure out what it keeps focusing on because it'll go off to the side on me. I guess it's deciding what is better to look at for you than I am. Certainly less energy needed when these trails are nicely groomed. A pile of birds over there squawking about something. Maybe they're just happy they're not freezing their wings off. Shout out to them hollow bones, eh? Got the ducks flying over now too. Wonder if those are the same ducks. People whine about people leaving their winter dogs like huskies and stuff outside, and oh, those poor dogs. All right, why aren't you rounding up all the fucking birds then and bringing them in because it's cold out? I look at animals from the practical sense. Wonder what they would taste like. I think a dog wouldn't taste very good, or a cat. But maybe if you sauteed it right, I don't know. Somebody figured out that birds were tasty. And I guess if you're starving, anything will make a good meal. Even if it's your best buddy. Okay, here we are at the clubhouse. All the way to the south point of the golf course. So not quite all the way from the north to the south, but I could have picked up the north part and made a loop there, but can't do it all in one day, right? I'm gonna cross the street over there where there's a sidewalk, but it looks like people made a nice walking path here, so it's pretty lumpy. The sidewalk would have been easier, but can't always take the easy route. A couple kids tobogganing on a small hill over there. I spent hours tobogganing. It's funny when you're having fun, you don't worry about how cold you are. But when you have to walk to school, it's like a boo-hoo moment. I remember a friend of mine, Peter, and I went tobogganing. It was a hill just adjacent to Bow Trail in Calgary, and we got pretty brazen. We had a long wooden toboggan, and we both crouched down on it and weren't looking, just put our heads down and went flying down the hill. And by the time we stopped, we were in the middle of a bunch of bushes. Like we must have skimmed over the top of the bushes and landed in the middle of the trees. And yes, there were big trees around too, so oh, the stupid things you do as a kid when you think you're invincible. Also, there used to be a hill at Edworthy Park in Calgary that was a very popular tobogganing area. And somehow, I think I'd stopped halfway down the hill because my toboggan stopped. And two girls were coming down in an inner tube, and there weren't no stopping them. And they slammed into me, and I just rode my way down the hill with them. Cheap and easy ride that way. Those ugly little Bronco 2s are starting to see some value come back. I guess as I get older, cars from the 80s are starting to become collectors, even though they're just boxes. There were some nice cars that came out of the 80s, but a lot of them were just bricks on wheels. I think my favorite car I had was my second car, and that was a 76 Buick Electra 225 Limited. One of the longest cars of its time. Seats were like sitting on your couch. Rode like a dream. Gutless. for a 455, but luxury none the same. I was never a real sports car fan. I was mostly into trucks and luxury cars. Bigger the better. Whew, feeling this in my knees today, and I really have to pee. So many pee stains around here from dogs. Would anybody notice it was me standing there taking a leak? On the ground again. Those stupid hidden patches of ice get me every time. And some of it is my responsibility, but after all this time, people should be out sprinkling their sidewalks. And I wonder why I'm sore all the time. Might feel that one in my back later. Thank God I've lost a few pounds. Less pounds to hit the ground with. But guess what? I ain't bleeding, so I'm walking it off. I think by having this DJI thing might save my phone, because normally I would have had it back in my back pocket and I may have slammed down on it. And that would have been uber uncomfortable. As it was, I just slammed my ribs into the sidewalk. No big deal. Keeps the guy tough, right? I guess it proves I'm not overly fragile. Kind of stuck to the school loop on my way back. A little less treacherous, a little less hidden ice. You'd think I'd know better by now, but I got distracted with my gadgets. All I know is my ass is wet. And cold. Just about home, thank goodness. The pee thing is starting to become urgent. Okay, let's see how I did with Runkeeper and Google Maps. And keep in mind that I was way down there, I think, about a block before I remembered to turn Runkeeper on. Okay, Runkeeper said I did 7.12 and Google said I did 7.1. But keep in mind, I'd already walked a couple blocks before I turned Runkeeper on. So anyways, 7 kilometers today. That's a pretty good walk. Until the next one.